Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff, and this is the One Punch Man Season 2, Episode 1 review. With me, as always, are Coby and Jake. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hello.
Greetings.
See, just straightforward, straight to it. Didn't make a whole big deal about it, and now we're just gliding through so gracefully without any sort of filler or joke or anything long, extended, or anything weird like that.
I'm surprised you made it through that without a breath.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good bit. We are joined.
Solid bit.
We are joined by special guest Jake over from Anime Dumpster Dive. Say hello, Jake.
Hello, Jake.
His podcast deals with watching trashy anime and deciding whether or not it's trashy. Isn't that right, Jake?
Yes, it is.
But this show, is it trashy? Is it not? One Punch Man Season 2. I'm assuming you guys have seen Season 1.
Of course.
Yep, absolutely.
And what did you guys think of Season 1?
I really liked it. I thought it was a good deconstruction of just like Western superheroes in general. And kind of like, I hate Superman because Superman always wins, but this turned it into a comedic way of like Saitama always wins because like he's One Punch Man. So I enjoyed it a lot.
I liked when he punched things and they exploded.
Yeah, I liked it too. The only thing I will say though is I don't think I liked it towards the end. I think I liked the first half or maybe even like the first 2/3. But once they start introducing all these new characters and like all the super top rank heroes and all the different interactions between them, I didn't like it as much. I liked it more when it was just Saitama and Genos.
But they needed that, right? Or else like the story would have got stagnant like real fast.
I agree. They probably do need more characters and another layer to the story than just a sort of slice of life of Saitama. But I think they could have done it better. I don't know. And I also just didn't like the characters. Of course, the little brother to the show, which is also really good, is Mob Psycho 100. And I think
that's the only reason you wanted to do this, right? Is to,
I just wanted to talk about
Mob Psycho 100.
Mob Psycho 100. Have you guys seen Mob Psycho 100? I just want to do a quick aside. Have you guys seen it?
No.
I have seen the first episode.
Okay. Well, I love that show. I love season 2 came out this year also. Both seasons are really solid.
Great.
And I think that one it's kind of the same concept where you have a super powered individual trying to basically find some meaning in the mundane life. But I think that one is able to introduce characters and layers to the story better than this one. Anyways, season 2. So have you guys heard of the sort of controversy around this show?
Are you talking about the change in animation studio?
Yes. Yes, I am. If you haven't heard, season 2 of One Punch Man is not made by the same studio as the first season. First season was Studio Madhouse, who makes pretty much everything that you think is good. It has a very impressive pedigree. If you look at their page, you will see a lot of anime I'm sure you recognize, like Death Note, Hunter x Hunter, High School of the Dead, Parasite, Death Parade, Black Lagoon, Hellsing. They're the big one. And they have been replaced by JC staff. And looking at their page, I know they made Food Wars.
Which I love. I love Food Wars.
And Prison School, which apparently was good.
I love Prison School.
Bakuman. And, I think they've also made some pretty good shows. But I think generally the consensus is it's not worthy of taking up the mantle from Studio Madhouse and the excellent job they did with season 1. You combine that with a couple lackluster trailers, and I think the general consensus of the show was kind of doubtful. Some people were saying it was going to look like shit. Some people were saying give it a chance. But now that it's finally here, I want to hear what you guys have to say about the animation.
Well, because it's like the first episode, and the first episode is usually, I guess, higher budgeted than like, other episodes. I really couldn't tell a difference that much in the animation style, and maybe he looked a little different, Saitama, but I think overall they pumped a lot of money into how these villains look and some of the effects and everything like that. So I don't think I would have known that the studio was different just from this first episode.
For me, the gold standard of One Punch Man fights is the Genos versus Saitama fight in season 1.
Yes, of course.
And so I like to compare stuff to that. And right here we have that fight between Genos and that one robot. And I pointed out to Coby while we were watching it that it doesn't have like the fluid motion that we saw in the Saitama Genos fight, but we got more of the classic anime trope fight where it was showing less in that fight. Like it would show like a punch, and then like it would show the person react to the punch instead of it being one scene of the person punching and that person flying off screen. So I thought it had more cuts in the fight than I would care for.
Yeah, so, Saitama versus Genos, definitely the gold standard. One could say it might be unfair to even compare it to that, because of how good it is. So what I did was I actually watched Season 1, Episode 1, right after Season 2, Episode 1, just to see exactly what the differences were. And the differences were definitely noticeable, both in the animation style, but also the content and how well they introduce the season. So, like you said, Jake, the animation of the fight scenes from the first season were way more fluid, explosive, entertaining, and they actually show One Punch Man punching, whereas in this first episode, we don't even see that.
Yeah, that was a weird choice. That I wonder why they did that. I think if Studio JC crew
Staff
JC staff really wanted to make a statement about they're worthy to take up the mantle of One Punch Man animation, they should have funneled a lot of money into having him punch something. Like, we're here to see him punch stuff. So it's weird that part happened off camera. It's like they chickened out when they should have really just devoted more time to an epic punch that would have turned that bird into bird. What do birds turn into? Bird goo?
What do
bird
birds
dust?
do? Bird feathers?
Yeah.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. One could make the argument that
That would have been so good. Why didn't I say turn that bird into fried chicken? That would have been great.
Don't dwell on it, Coby. Don't dwell on it. You have other chances.
One can make the argument that the reason why we didn't see the punch is that we were supposed to see it from King's point of view, because the way King always, quote, defeats monsters is that he looks away and someone else has defeated the monster in a blink of an eye. And so I think maybe that was the reason why, was King looked away and then he looks back and the monster's defeated, and that's what helps him connect that Saitama is the person who he's been taking credit for.
That's true, but on the same token, if he had actually visualized, like, he was right in front of him, if he had seen One Punch Man actually do an explosive punch, wouldn't that have even
the
more...
The exact same effect? Yes.
Yeah, cemented that, I mean, even more so, like, just from thematically.
Because he's never known what's defeated the monsters before, so he doesn't know true strength or what to strive for. For him to actually see it for the very first time is eye-opening.
Yeah. And the other comparison between this episode and the first episode of the first season was in the first season, in the first episode, there were 4 fight scenes. I don't know if you guys remember this. I didn't remember that.
In the first episode?
In the very first episode, you had...
Vaccine Man, the subterranean people, the skull dude, and
Crab.
Yep.
And crab guy.
Yeah, all that was in the first episode. I completely forgot. I thought the Subterraneans were actually a little bit later, but no, that was all in the first
giant guy
season.
was in episode 2.
Yeah, the giant guy was in the first episode.
Wow.
Yeah, and all those fight scenes were really dynamic and entertaining and fluid, and
we saw every punch.
We saw every single punch. So yeah, there is a marked difference between the two, which I guess brings the question. So this episode introduces the character of King, and he's basically been accidentally stealing credit from Saitama and some of his victories, where he's basically always at the scene when Saitama or some other hero sweeps the villain, and he ends up getting the credit. Because of this, he ends up being like top dog hero, and everyone loves him, but he's actually just some shut-in otaku that plays video games and stuff. So what do you guys think of this character?
I love it. I'm a manga reader, and when this got revealed, I absolutely love it, because a question that had been weighing on me since I saw One Punch Man season 1 was, how come everyone just dismisses these monsters that have destroyed entire towns? And it's because they're not dismissing them. It's because they're giving credit to somebody, and that somebody is King. And I just I thought it was great. It was a great way to answer that, as well as introduce a character who's kind of a foil of Saitama, where Saitama is doing all the work, getting none of the credit. This man is doing none of the work and getting all of the credit.
What about you, Coby?
Yeah, King won me over. The reveal was great because I too had that problem of I know it's a silly show, but I think there should have been an explanation about why nobody knew about him. I like how King is like, getting all the credit that he should get credit for, and I really like the end where it seems like this is going to inspire King to become an actual hero because Saitama says, get stronger. Like, if that's what you want to do, get stronger. It's as easy as that. So I like that idea of him becoming this mentor and type of inspiration to someone, to another character like he was with Genos in the first season. So yeah, I'm on board for King.
Yeah, I do. I definitely think he's a fitting addition to the show in terms of his personality and his concept. And yeah, I think he's right at home with the type of comedy that this show can provide. And with that being said, though, because the animation is not as good as the first season, and the first season I think leaned a lot on those awesome fight scenes combined with the comedy, whereas this show it does have its fight scenes. Maybe they're not as cool as the first seasons, but I think it still has the same spirit. Do you think it will be able to lean on that enough? Like, will that be able to carry the show and maybe keep it on the same level as the first season?
I think it would have if they didn't seem to be introducing a ton of different characters. Like, if this was just kind of focused on King and King's arc throughout, like this, maybe the first 6 episodes or so, that'd be great. But then they introduced a ton of other stuff to me that I wasn't a fan of. Like, I give no shits about Speedo Sound Sonic and his grudge with Saitama, especially because the show keeps trying to make him like a viable threat when it's like proven that he's not. And what's that the other person's name? He's like, we need to find this man.
Oh, Fubiki.
Yeah, Fubiki. It's like, I at this point, I didn't care about that storyline as much. So I just would have preferred, I guess I would prefer just King at this stage. Like a 3 or 4 episode arc of just King becoming a hero. That I would have liked that.
Jake, what about you?
For me, I think that because, like, again, I'm going to do my best to do this discussion without spoiling anything. But I feel like the reason why they were completely okay with making a different animation studio was because, from at least what I recall, there's not that many fights going on. It's a lot of slice of life stuff. Well, like a lot of Saitama. It's not as action-packed as the first season, where Saitama's destroying a monster every episode. It's a lot of introducing of new characters. So I think that the comedy really has to hold up. In this part, I thought the comedy in the first episode was great with King, so I think they'll be able to keep us going until the fights happen, and I believe that the fights will probably have more love put into them because there's not as many.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Like I mentioned before, I didn't really like the first season much when they started introducing all those new characters. So when this first episode ended, and then we saw all those, rank A, rank S heroes, and Speedo, and that Miss Blizzard chick, I started feeling those same vibes of like, this is sort of treading the territory that I didn't like before. So, yeah, I hope they do stick with King more than this other stuff that the show / manga has provided.
Just have him play video games the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's what One Punch Man does best, is when it's just talking about those little moments that Saitama has to go through, and because as far as I remember, we never resolved him and his problems in the last season, so I wonder where it's actually going to go for this season.
Well, he kind of talks to King about it. Like, when he believes King is actually superpowered, he goes, like, do you not fight because you're bored? Like, where he's trying to find a person who's similar to him, like, who's just so powerful that fighting is not fun anymore. And then he, like, as soon as he finds out King's weak, he kind of drops the subject. So I think we had that little seed where Saitama is still looking for a challenge.
Okay, are you guys going to be watching the rest of the show for this season?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Are you?
I think so. I'm not as my curiosity is not as peaked with this one as with other shows this season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I'll watch it just to be part of the discussion moving forward.
You know what we got to talk about though?
Yeah.
Is the new opening.
Okay. What do you guys think about the new opening?
For me, I will tell you right now, and this is me being 100% honest. I have never skipped the One Punch Man opening. Every time I watched it, and I've rewatched it like 3 times, I have watched the opening. I get hyped. It gets me in the mood to watch One Punch Man. I am excited. The opening for this, as soon as it started, I went, oh no, this can't be it. Like, this can't be the opening. And it's not good. It's not a good opening. The visuals are all over the place. The music's all over the place. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those ones where I watched it once and I went, I think I'm going to skip it. Every time.
It's just it's a hodgepodge of just stuff and like so many characters and them trying to mimic elements of the first one, like the heroes type thing and everything like that. And I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, it was very generic. I think it was a lot of static imagery, and it was very much not in the spirit of the first season. With that.
There's one really cool instance where it's like he's punching. It's like when he's flying, he's punching through monsters that mean nothing to him. He's punching through the sky that means nothing. He's punching through the universe. I mean, and then he's like punching galaxies, like in one like fluid shot. Like that part is awesome, and I think that's like the best part of the opening for me, just because that's so cool and like that's what I want to see. I don't want to see a bunch of still images of like the thousands of characters I'm going to have to keep track of.
Well, like after we watched it, we went and we watched the One Punch Man season 1 opening. And I will tell you that the One Punch Season 1 opening has like 2 scenes of reference of what actually happens in that season. The rest of it is just original animation that is just Saitama being One Punch Man.
Punches a ton of shit.
Punches a ton of stuff.
The
season 2 opening is just like, look at all the stuff you get to look forward to. Look at all these people you'll meet. And it's like, that's not why I watch One Punch Man. I watch One Punch Man to watch Saitama be like overpowered.
To watch him punch stuff, like I said at the beginning.
Yes. And that's why
I see him punch stuff.
That's why I don't like these other characters. I want it to stay localized. I only want to see Saitama.
Well, I mean, it will get boring if we watch Genos lose every fight. Other people need to lose fights.
I guess so.
I just don't like, because the show, we know that the show is just like, he is capable of beating everyone with one punch. So other characters need to be more interesting than I need to beat Saitama. Like, I need to beat him. Like, because we know they can't. Which is why I don't care about Speedo Sonic. And Genos, I guess I like Genos okay. But I guess I wouldn't, if Genos dropped from the story and was gone for about 5 or 6 episodes, I think it would take me a while to realize that he was missing.
Or they need to focus more on Saitama's character development overall and see him grow as a person and come to different realizations in his life. Like I said, Mob Psycho 100, watch that show, it's awesome. Like I said, that show has the same concept, super overpowered person, but that one does a way better job of having a more introspective look, and where the main character knows he's powerful, but knows that there's other things in life that he needs to work on and stuff. And I don't know, I think it's easy for me to compare the two because they're sort of similar in concept, but yeah, Mob Psycho definitely succeeds more in making the main character be able to carry the show more. Like, I feel like Saitama himself is not able to carry the show. That's why they have to introduce all these other characters, but I don't really give a shit about.
And that's supposed to be the joke, right? Like, the joke, or that's what I see it as, is just like, there's so much going on that Saitama isn't aware of. Like, there's like the organization, there's all these class ranks of power struggles between these people. There's Genos' inner struggles, there's all these vendettas and monsters and all this stuff, and Saitama just has a very baseline recognition of the plot happening around him, and he's the most powerful person in the universe by far. But I need more than that.
Well, I think the reason why, like, sorry to jump into like One Punch Man like theories, but the reason why I think Saitama never knows what's going on around him is because he beats the villain so fast the villain can't explain their plans. So that's why he's always super confused of what's going on, is that he'll one punch a monster and then he'll have to wait for Genos to beat up a monster and keep that monster alive and be like, oh, so that's what's going on.
So yeah, they never would have known about this organization that I guess is creating robots to get data or anything like that, because if Saitama fought him, it would have been obliterated and
he would have punched that robot and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, is there anything else you guys want to add?
I didn't like the meta humor as much because I think that was unearned. Like, it was, I'm like, careful show. Yeah, so when he's like, oh, I've been waiting 3 years for this game. And then he also said something later on.
They always nail the openings.
They always nail the openings with this one. I'm like, oh, now you gotta deliver the show. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, One Punch Man's back. Woohoo, after so long.
All right, Coby, would you like to sign us off?
Sure, you've been listening to this on Nerd Blaze. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Jake, thank you for joining us from Anime Dumpster Dive. Plug your channel.
I come from Anime Dumpster Dive, where we go in depth on an anime that's been considered bad by the anime watching community. We watch it, we discuss it, and we see for ourselves if it's really worth the hate. Not gonna lie, 85% of the time, it is true. But we eventually always find one little thing that we liked about the show that people fail to mention.
Yeah, it's great. It's great of how bad the animes they watch are. Go check that out. Check out some of our stuff. We do a lot of reviews. We do a lot of random stuff. We do really mostly about anime. Leave us a comment and we'll send you a gift of anything that you choose that you just have to, or Jake will do that. Jake will send you a gift. Thank you very much, Jake. You're such a nice and kind person, and thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show, Jake, and sending those gifts. See you later.
What's happening?